I was listening to your conversation you had with Phil Vischer earlier today,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was awesome that you got that opportunity in the first place. But
yeah.
yeah, I
From
was
my audience's
surprised,
perspective.
I guess, to hear that VeggieTales was so inspired by like Ren and Stimpy. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
But it just made me think about, okay, he was pointing to a problem that I think still kind of exists in the church to some extent. It depends. I mean, you look at, we've got two different extreme versions of the church at this point, but like there was a problem of like churches not being able to not take themselves seriously. Too many nuts there, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And,
It was a quadruple negative.
but like, because, okay, and this is something I've noticed. I was reading a book with some of my friends lately.
Oh, reading.
And well, it seemed to kind of hit the same concept. It's like you're not really willing to take somebody seriously who's not willing to not take themselves seriously. There's my quintuple negative.
Wow, that was great. That was like people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, but like more in my
I don't know
world.
half as
Yeah.
many of you, twice as well as I would
in
like
the comedy world.
to. But okay, I'll tell you the book I was reading too, which is it's a classic. It's called Don Quixote. It's about
it's
not about a donkey.
Donkey Hote.
But
that's not the name of the book, but that's okay.
I think that the problem that author was trying to like address at his time was just like, at that point everybody was kind of over religion. Or at least it was on its way out. People were kind of becoming disenchanted with the Dark Ages. We were getting to realism and realizing like, okay, we can get a lot further with science than we can with this silly religious stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was sort of the same problem
kind of a reactionary perspective.
Well, yeah. and so, but Cervantes, who's writing this, at least the way I'm reading this book, anyways, I'm seeing it as like, okay, he sort of redeems that idealist hero type. So Don Quixote is this guy who, in a world full of people who are basically naturalists, realists, kind of post-religious people, he's taking up arms and being a knight errant and like playing his part in the cosmic story of Christendom. And because the whole thing is like a comedy, making fun, like constantly he's just running around making mistakes and being an idiot, because he's like he has such a high perspective on how everything's supposed to be. He ends up making all these mistakes, but then
he's such an idealist.
Yeah, he's such an idealist that he, yeah. And then in that, the stories about him just kind of being almost a klutz of and just like making all these, reading too much meaning into everything. But then in the end, it sort of redeems the character, and it's like you're willing to take that story seriously, or you're willing to take the redemption seriously, because he doesn't present the hero character as if he's flawless, or he doesn't. So it's like, I don't know. I was seeing kind of a parallel there between what Phil was doing and what this old 17th century author was doing, and it's like I feel like that's sort of the critique that you can give a lot of Christian movies and Christian content in general. Is just you're so taking your message so seriously that people aren't willing to take you seriously.
Yeah. No, I mean, just as somebody who's spent so much time watching Christian movies, that's probably the key issue with these movies is just the everybody's got to stick up their butt. Nobody's willing to have any levity in these ultra serious situations. I mean, it's one thing that I appreciate actually about the most recent Kendrick Brothers movie, whatever it's called. What's it called?
I don't know.
Overcomer. Yeah.
Okay.
And stupid. Every scene essentially ends with some kind of joke. Like not that was a stupid scene kind of joke, like a scary movie sort of type scene, but a bit of like realism, levity within the situation
To anchor it a
I
little
actually
bit.
appreciate. And I think some of the stuff is in the movie. Like I did a whole review of the movie, and I think some of it's just so unbelievable. And there's not a lot of like strong character development that was needed in order to kind of offset that. But I genuinely think that it is the humor, not in making fun of the situation, but in sharing what's real. People like me who, when you hear of somebody passing, you have to kind of have somebody you can joke with and laugh with about the memories of the person. That's something that's necessary that I think is it's kind of shallow in Christian movies where it's like, well, we better not do that because people will misunderstand. Where any drama, any good drama that you remember has humor in it. And
Mhm.
but it's not humor like Will Ferrell type humor where it's just loud. It's like humor to where it's kind of reminiscent, and it's like laughing at life, and it's um that can add so much strength to a serious situation, and like you said, kind of give give people a reason to care, give
Yeah.
people a reason to take you
I think
seriously
that's
because they
probably the
realize you
reason.
have a handle on my emotions.
I feel like that's probably the reason that Rick and Morty works as a show too,
Mm,
because I mean, it's obviously marketed to sort of the modern nihilist type who's just
yeah.
and even like it consistently pokes fun at religion, pokes fun at
Mhm.
meaning in general. But then when it sneaks in and has Rick crying and contemplating life, or like Morty trying to figure out the reason for existence, you're willing to take those moments a little bit more seriously. Whenever something, I guess, really, whenever a character has a change of heart, whenever something kind of, I guess, romantic, not in the
Mm.
lovey-dovey way, but romantic in the
Yeah.
sense of like values happens, you're willing to take it seriously because you're primed to kind of, yeah, I don't know,
To
you
care.
feel grounded, yeah.
Or to not, yeah, because you're like, "Well, this show is constantly telling me not to care, and now it's saying,
Yeah, why
but
does
maybe
that
care
work?
about this? You're
Yeah,
still
okay.
gonna care about." "Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm into it."
You're finally, yeah, you're looking for something to care about. I know you don't get the sense that they're trying to like hit you over the head with a message because they're not taking themselves too seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. Where Christian movies, I think, have kind of a hurdle more than any other genre to a degree to jump over, which is you have a history of being super preachy. And that's fine, but lots of movies are preachy, but can you do this? The reason I'm talking about Christian movies is because I talk about it all the time. But like, because you brought up the Phil Vischer interview,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I
you
was going
know,
to ask you,
it
is this
was
what
it
you
was
want?
interesting to talk to him and actually get some realism out of him, about that. Like, so how come VeggieTales works? VeggieTales is very funny, and it's interesting, and can kind of not, Simpsons have made fun of VeggieTales a million times, and yet there is no tweet from Phil Vischer every time Simpsons makes fun of VeggieTales. Like, oh, well, actually, you shouldn't make fun of it because this is the Lord's work or whatever. Like, that type of attitude is what I think makes it so that it's like, okay, yeah, Simpsons makes the joke. That's funny. They kind of could have a similar, audience, honestly.